Honda now has two BS6 scooter offerings in the 125cc segment, in which one is a true classic while the other is a stylish offering. But then, which one should you consider buying? And also, should the decision be just based on the styling, or is there anything more to it? Well, this video is for that. This is the comparison video of the Honda Grazia BS-6 and the Honda Activa 125 BS-6. Like all our comparison videos, this video is divided into 5 factors, which are these, and this will help you to get a very clear picture about both these scooters. So let's not waste any time and let's start things with the first factor, which is the design and build quality. Now with this factor, as I was saying, the Activa 125 BS6 is a true classic offering, while the Grazia BS6 is a sporty looking one. And that thing is basically evident when we take a look around. But this is not what I am excited to focus on. Instead, the main core thing here for me is that the materials used are different in both these scooters. The Activa, like always, gets a metal body, while the Grazia has a fiber body. So obviously the more durable one should be the Activa 125 BS6, and it's like that, but still the body of the Grazia BS6, even though being fiber, it feels of really good quality, and I feel it should last well if you are not very careless. But considering a long-term perspective, the Activa obviously has the slight advantage in terms of the materials used. Now here both these scooters have multiple variants, in which the Activa 125 BS6 has 3 variants, which are the standard, alloy and deluxe, and in that, except for the standard variant, the other two gets a LED headlight. And this LED headlight is a good one for night rides with good coverage of the road even in pitch dark. And with the Grazia, there are just 2 variants, which are the drum and disc variant, and here both gets a LED headlight, and here this one is slightly better than the one in the Activa 125, and hence the road visibility is a bit better. Now here, while checking the headlights, you might have noticed these different position light offered in both these scooters, and here from the two, well, I did like the strip pattern in the Activa, but since the Grazia gets a smoked visor setup on the handle, well, that along with the position light together does give a much more striking look for the Grazia, and that's even noticeable with the main headlights design. Then from the side, you can clearly see the different approach. The Activa opts for a classic and elegant look with a chrome strip, while the Grazia, even though not very loud, does show the aggression with sharp cuttings and an aerodynamic design pattern. And that theme does continue to the pillion grab bar, which is the split type one, and also to the new sleek looking tail light. This taillight follows the jet style taillight design, and I really love it. It's small, yet it's very eye-catching. While for the Activa, it has to retain a simple touch, and it keeps its mark in that. The pillion grab bar is the single type grab bar, which is silver colored, and the taillight does match up well with the whole design. But here in the rear, in both the scooters, there is a similarity, and that's with the fuel inlet system. Both scooters have the external fuel filling system, and here both the scooters does have that polished external flap design, which does blend really well with the body of the scooter. And here in both these scooters, this flap can be opened from the new lock system. Then about the exhaust, well, the Activa retains the old classic Activa exhaust, but the Grazia actually gets a new sharp looking exhaust, which is much better than the old one. Now I did mention that both these scooters have different variants, and here based on the variant you pick, the switch controls and speedometer console changes. And here the top variant of both these scooters get the best selection of switch controls, with the dim, bright and pass light as a single switch, along with indicator toggle and horn on the left side, and on the right side there is the ideal start stop switch and also the self start switch. The ideal start-stop switch is a great feature in which if it's turned on and you take a halt in traffic or for something else, the engine automatically cuts off, and when you want to resume the ride, just a twist of the accelerator will turn the engine back on. This feature does help to save fuel, and it works great all the time. Then about the speedo console, well, with the Grazia, both the variants get the fully digital meter, which has a dual layer setup, and it shows much needed info and also some great add-ons like the real-time mileage, average mileage, distance to empty, etc. And with the Activa, well, other than with the standard variant, the other two does get a digital analog meter, which again shows almost the same type of info. Then both the scooters does offer side stand engine cutoff feature, which is another handy feature, and the only variant that doesn't have this feature is the standard variant of the Activa 125 BS6. And finally about the storage space, well, both the scooters follow almost the same pattern in which the front side has a glove box and 2 hooks, but the glove box in the Grazia is actually the premium feeling one, and also the Grazia's footboard seems to have slightly larger base area. And that trend is even noticeable with the under-seat spacing, because the Grazia's under-seat spacing does take in my large size fully covered helmet, but the spacing in the Activa doesn't fit in my large size fully covered helmet. So with the storage spacing, the Grazia has the upper hand. And overall in this factor, even though the decision is basically going to be based on design, well, there are certain things which are sure advantages for both the scooters. For me, I do prefer sporty design, and hence my pick from the two is the new Grazia. And actually that extra spacing is a plus point for my use. But like always, I'll never recommend to finalize a scooter just based on design and the things that comes with it. Because the next factor is a reference path for the most important things, and we need to focus on that and the other factors before finalizing. So let's move to the second factor, which is the specifications. This is the engine spec sheet of both these scooters, and as you can see, both the scooters have a 124cc engine, and actually both of them on paper does output almost the same max power and torque. Both are programmed fuel injection engines, and both are of BS6 standard. And this similarity is even noticeable with the tires and brakes used. In paper, they are the exact same with the tire dimension and also the brake options available. And interestingly, even the suspension used are same in paper. Both the scooters get a telescopic front suspension and a 3-step adjustable spring-loaded hydraulic suspension. And also the dimension of both these scooters are again almost the same. Even though they are not precisely identical, it's almost very close in range. And also if you're wondering which is the lighter scooter, well, it's the Grazia, which is the lighter one, weighing 108 kilograms, while the Activa 125 BS-6 weighs 111 kilograms. So after checking the spec sheet, it might be tough to find out any differences between these two because literally there is nothing. But still, that doesn't mean the ride experience from both these scooters will be the same. And to get a clear picture, we have a third factor, which is the ride quality and comfort. And in this factor, firstly with the Activa 125 BS-6, it's a very refined and smooth experience when you hit the road. The scooter starts silently with the new silent start feature, and actually that feature is present in both the Activa and the Grazia. And with the Activa, the acceleration is a very linear chart, so it's like the scooter gains speed at a steady pace. But here there is enough torque available so that quick overtakes are possible with the Activa 125 BS-6, and also the acceleration is better than the old BS-4 Activa 125, and that's a great improvement. And also since the engine has been completely changed, this new one has the enhanced smart power technology, which actually improves the performance. And hence for a speed range from 0 to 80 km per hour, the overall refinement and smoothness was spot on. And in that speed range, there was literally no vibration or engine stress. So from all this about the ride quality, I totally loved it with the Activa 125 BS-6. And also I'm happy to report that the performance has been set well for a proper city commuter use. But with the Grazia BS-6, well, even though the spec sheet shows similarities with the Activa 125 BS-6, in road it's a totally different story. You're gonna get the same engine refinement and quality, but on top of that, the performance is better. Now it can be because of the lighter body and also because of the aerodynamic design, and here I did feel that performance improvement. So it's like the Grazia does gain speed at a slightly quicker pace, and also the ride control part was easier with the Grazia. The Grazia can be flicked around at a faster pace compared to the Activa 125 BS-6, and that's a plus point for the Grazia when stuck in traffic. And about the ride comfort, well, in that both these scooters have their differences. Both are comfortable scooters and both have almost an identical seating posture, which is an upright posture. But about the seat used, well, I did prefer the one in the Grazia more than the one in the Activa 125. It might be because of the slightly improved cushioning provided, and also about the footboard spacing, it was actually more than adequate for me with both the scooters, but for a comparison, the Grazia has a bit more footboard area. And about the suspensions used, well, even though both scooters are by default set to soft setting, the most softer one felt to be the one in the Activa 125, but still, even through worse conditions, both scooters did provide good comfort. And overall, since the Grazia has a slight upper hand in terms of overall ride comfort, that along with the improved performance makes the Grazia a scooter that can be used for short as well as long rides. But when it comes to safety, there isn't a lot different here. The top end variant of both scooters are safe for a speed under 70 km per hour when it comes to panic braking, and again while comparing this, there is a very slight upper hand for the Grazia for a clean stop. So this factor did give us a more insight, and the final conclusion for this factor is that the Activa 125 BS-6 is a great scooter with top quality refinement and good comfort, which is best suited for daily commutes, while the Grazia on the other hand has all the same stuff in the Activa 125 with a little more punch in the performance, and also a tad bit better comfort is there too. So that makes the Grazia a multi-purpose scooter. And also with both these scooters, the underside was safe even through the worst condition, and that's all thanks to the good clearance offered. And now while moving to the fourth factor, which is the mileage, earlier the Activa 125 BS-6 gave a slightly better mileage, which is in the range of 55 to 58 km per liter, while the Grazia gave a mileage in the range of 53 to 55 km per liter. Now this mileage we got was under mixed conditions, and these are great numbers for a 125cc scooter, but one thing to note is that mileage depends totally on the way we ride, and also it's based on riding conditions too. So for you, the mileage you get might be different. And that takes us to the last factor, which is the pricing. This is the ex-showroom price chart of both these scooters, and here as you can see, the Grazia is the pricier one of the two. And to an extent that was expected, but still since this factor is a very important one, well, the Activa 125 BS-6 gets a solid advantage with this factor. And by the way, if you're in Kollam, Kerala and you want to know the on-road pricing, or you want to do a test ride, or maybe you want to make a booking for any of the two scooters, you can contact Vahini Honda. So I guess that's everything for this comparison. When we started the video, there was this doubt whether these scooters are just different based on design theme, or is there anything more to it. And actually after checking all this, there is sure differences between the two scooters even though they look same in the spec sheet. And here the Activa 125 BS-6 is a true classic scooter with great engine refinement and quality along with good ride comfort, and also it has the upper hand in terms of body durability, and there is even great features offered with really improved mileage, and all of that comes at a lower price tag. While the Grazia BS-6 on the other hand has better performance while retaining the great engine refinement and quality seen in the Activa 125 BS-6, and the Grazia also has the slightly better ride comfort, and even there is a bigger storage spacing which leads to a better convenience, and also for the power we get, the mileage is really good too. And you also get the great features offered in the Activa 125 BS-6 with the Grazia BS-6. So these things should help you to finalize one, and that should totally be based on your priorities. For me, the Grazia does tick majority of the stuff I need, and hence my pick from the two is the Grazia BS-6. And I would like to know which one is your pick, so please leave that in the comment section below. And also, if you like this video, a like is much appreciated and a sub would be great. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.